Great trip to France this weekend. We're off to Toulouse. How are you feeling ahead of the trip south?
It's going to be tough, mate. It's never an easy fixtures, and the next couple of fixtures are going to be extremely tough. Playing second and third in the league, and so we're not on any sort of form at this moment in time, and low on bodies as well. So it's going to be a difficult trip over there. It's going to be a difficult contest, and I think it's looking at 39 degrees as well for the heat as well. So it's going to be difficult conditions for the players. So it's another challenge, and that's what we've got to meet head on.
Just how much of a response? I know, as I say, it'll be a tough game going out there, but just how much of a response do you want from the lads? I've seen that defeat that we had at Halifax.
It's obvious you want a massive response, but these are just words out. I can sit here and say all the words that I want and make it try and sound pretty, but it's not. And we're just where we are. We're not playing well. We're low on bodies. We're low on confidence, and it's for me to sit here and say answer the question about how much of a response do I want. It's blatantly obvious what sort of response I want, and it's to go out there and represent the shirt with some pride.
These last games that we've got now between the end of the season, just what do you want from that group? What do you want them to try and go out there and do for a Craig Lingard side?
Compete. I think that we've got to compete in every single thing that we do, and the way that I've always coached, it's getting into that arm wrestle, getting into that grind, getting into the battle, and being comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. As a group, we're not in that position. We don't like uncomfortable situations, and we've not got to the point where we've had that patience to go set for set with teams and outwork a team at this moment in time. And that's where I've always built my teams is being comfortable in them sort of situations. But we've not managed to do that on a consistent basis this season. We've done it in periods. We've done it for periods of 15, 20, 25 minutes in a game, and I guess the best game that we had this season when we did that was the Batley game, but that's months ago, so you can't base a season based on one game where you've had one decent performance, and we've not managed to do that long enough and consistently enough this season.
It feels a while now since we last took on Toulouse here at home, so going out there this weekend, not at the normal stadium, we played at a different venue, so what are you expecting Toulouse to bring to you this week?
Toulouse have always got a good back five. They get them on the front foot, strong coming out of yardage, both wingers, centres, full back, very, very fast, very elusive, and defensively, watching them play against London this week, defensively they ramp up in D, which is what good teams do. They restrict the meters coming out of 20, 30 metre area, which is what they did with London. And London, the amount of times that London kicks from their own sort of 30, 35 metre area, and Toulouse were bringing the ball back up towards halfway line. That's what they base the game on, and that's how you win games. It's all right saying we want to score points and we want to play an attractive brand of rugby, but you can't do that unless your defence is on point. And Toulouse do that really well. They restrict you coming out of yardage, they ramp up, they're physical, they're energetic, and they're tough, and they put you under some pressure. So that's what we're expecting. We're expecting some tough physical carries and competitions when they're carrying the ball, but we're also expected to get whacked when we're carrying the ball.
I can imagine when you talk about that back five that they've got, one of the main areas you want to improve on this week is the wide areas, defending, and obviously them coming forward. So just how much of a response you want in them wide areas, having looked back at the game?
We've got to be better in every area, not just the wide areas. I mean, the wide areas for me aren't a massive concern. The concern for me is coming around the ruck and the ABC. That's where they get the joy from the wide areas, then, because the punch holes around that ruck, around the AB defenders, which means that the edge defenders have got to fold in, they've got to turn in, and any good team is going to streak you for numbers then. So we've got to make sure that we're better in the physical contest of controlling the ruck and controlling that marker area and the ABCs, and that's where the game's won and lost.
You talked about the players that we lost at the weekend as well. How is everyone doing after the game? And as I say, the players that are maybe out, are we likely to see anyone back for this weekend?
Massey, hopefully. We were close last week, and we've been saying that for a couple of weeks now, but he's just kept having some little setbacks. Massively low on numbers again. We lost Ollie Roberts, Ev Hodgson, Billy Walker with his HIA, Matty Dawson-Jones, who can't travel. There's one or two others that are struggling as well. So, we're frantically on the phone ringing around, seeing if we get any emergency loans in at this moment in time.
When so many people are going to be without for the weekend, just how hard is that for you, as I say, to be able to prepare for a big game like this one?
It is hard, but we're playing a contact sport, and we're in. Myself and the coaching staff and the players, we're in a privileged position where we're paid to play and coach professional sport. We're not digging holes, we're not out in the wind and the rain and grafting outside. We're in a privileged position where we're paid to compete in professional sport. So that's something that I've wanted to do all my career, and I'm in that position now, and I'm in a position to be shot down, and in a position to set the flak, and I'll take that. That's part and parcel of the job. So anybody who shirks away from a tough contest or a physical contest or any sort of adversity, then they're in the wrong sport, they're in the wrong job. That's got to come, and we've got to make sure that we embrace that. And there was a great quote that I saw the other day where you don't rise to the occasion, you sink to your level of preparation and training. And that's something that we've got to make sure that we do. We've got to prepare as best we possibly can, and regardless of how many players that we've got and how many loan players that we've got coming in, how many players that are coming on an emergency loan, they've got prepared exactly the same, and be prepared to represent this club.
And for anyone heading out to France, just how much is that support going to be? Hopefully try and cheer you on, as I say, and just how great is it going to be to have people out in France with us?
It's always good, mate. You ask about the supporters every single week, and the supporters are lifeblood of the club. And we as a club, as an organisation, we've got to represent the supporters better on the field, and that's every single person that's involved with this club, whether it's players, coaching staff, director, whoever it might be. We've got to make sure that we represent the supporters who pay their hard-earned money to come and watch us.